We hope you're enjoying all the great competition you're seeing here today. At the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union, we're grateful for the incredible support that makes this event possible. None more vital or valued than the proud title sponsor, Iowa Farm Bureau. With me here today is Brent Johnson, president of the Iowa Farm Bureau, to explain why their organization invests in and supports the Girls Union.
Thanks, Aaron. The Iowa Farm Bureau has been the title sponsor of the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union for more than 2 decades now. The athletes competing here today represent the very best of our nation's student athletes, driven, dedicated, and committed to teamwork. At the Iowa Farm Bureau, we share those same values. Our farmers lead the nation not only in the production of corn, hogs, eggs, and ethanol, but also in the implementation of a number of innovative soil and water conservation practices which hold soil in place and reduce runoff. These shared values unite Iowa's student athletes and farm families, and our partnership with the Girls Union gives us the perfect opportunity to celebrate that commitment to excellence statewide.
Thank you, Brent. We appreciate the Iowa Farm Bureau's ongoing support and the role you play in helping Iowa's girls shine.
All right, let's wait until he starts introductions.
Good afternoon, softball fans, and welcome to Rogers Sports Complex, Iowa Farm Bureau Field, and this 1A matchup featuring the Vikings from Edgewood-Colesburg.
We are live here in Fort Dodge. It is state tournament softball presented by the Iowa Farm Bureau, live here on the Girls Union Network, powered by Mid-American Energy Company. And my name is Emery Songer. Owen Sebring is my partner. We appreciate everyone for joining us here on what we're calling Farm Bureau Field for the Class 1A second round. This is 2 teams that won yesterday with a chance to get one step closer to a state title. Neither team will be eliminated in this double elimination bracket here in this game today. And the number 8 seed, Edgewood-Colesburg, a surprise here. And they take on Southeast Warren, who put up 3 touchdowns yesterday here on this particular field. Owen Sebring, This is a matchup. I'm not sure people expected these two teams, especially with the way those games unfolded yesterday.
Yeah, and this is the matchup of two teams that maybe is the most intriguing pairing across the entire 1A bracket this year, because you have Edgewood-Colesburg, their star pitcher, Rachel Eggleseder, who might be one of the best pitchers across any class in the entire state of Iowa, had 15 strikeouts in the first round yesterday. But then you've got Southeast Warren, a team that put up 21 runs in the first round yesterday. They've had 18 games this year, scoring 10-plus runs, maybe the best offensive attack in the entire state, going up against maybe the best pitcher in the entire state. So anything's up for grabs in this next round. It's a double elimination format, so no matter what happens in this game, either team, if they lose, will stay alive and fight to play another day, which I think that day might be today based on how the bracket looks with the double elimination format. But, this is a matchup that everybody's been dreaming of seeing between kind of a rock and a hard place. What's gonna give between the best pitcher and the best offense?
Yeah, so let's go ahead and talk about it. It's going to be the number 8 Edgewood-Colesburg. Let's go through their lineup. 28-10 after that 6-3 win, and what a job they did. Was the only people who were able to the only hitter that had RBIs yesterday was Riley Miller, and she had all 3 of them. So, can they keep that kind of defense up against this offense that put up a 21 spot yesterday? Faith Dugan is the shortstop, a sophomore. She'll lead off, followed by Ava Hofer, who is a sophomore in left field. Rachel Eggleseder, the pitcher, who is the player to watch for Edco, the senior, batting third. The catcher, McKenna Hofer, bats fourth. Lauren Kirby, another senior, bats in the 5-hole. She is the first baseman. Addie Schmelzer, a sophomore, playing second base. The designated player is Chloe Everett. She is a senior, batting in the 7th spot, hitting for the third baseman, Eva Vasky. Then Clara Knipper, senior, batting in the 8th spot in right field, and then the number 9 hitter is Avery Brown, a sophomore, in center. On the other side, Southeast Warren Warhawks 23-4. They are the 5 seed, but they don't hit like a 5 seed does. They only have 11 players.
11 players on the entire roster.
So the Warhawks, it's not a long bench, not a big bench, but this is one of those things that we're going to have to pay attention to with Lexi Clendenin, a senior, is at second base leading off, with Belle Ewing, the junior, at shortstop batting second. Madison Olsowski, a junior catcher, bats third. Emma Manser is the junior first baseman in the cleanup spot. Lola Shriver batting fifth in left field. She is a senior. Kinley Crow, a freshman in center, bats in the 6th hole. The 7 hitter is the third baseman, Kiara Wallace, a senior. Another senior, Glorious Fridley, is the designated player in the 8th spot. And Glorious is going to bat for the pitcher, Allie Geisler, the sophomore. And then the 8th grader, Harper Wallace, is in right field and batting 9th for the Warhawks. Again, an unpredictable matchup. And I'll just be honest with you. It takes a rocket scientist to go through the 4 innings of what Southeast Warren was able to do yesterday and try to unpack everything. The only player without a hit was Glorious Fridley in that game yesterday that they were able to take out West Monona. But if you're coming in, I just want to go on the other side here. Edco, you know this team you're about to face scored 21 runs. Is there an approach change considering how powerful this offense for Southeast Warren can be, or is it one of those things that you're trying to be as nameless, faceless opponent and just stay locked in and try to pick up where you left off yesterday?
Your approach still just has to be what's gotten you here the entire season. You've lived and died with Rachel Eggleseder as your pitcher, and you know that she's going to be the one that, if you're going to win a state title, it's going to be on her back. She's going to be the one that's going to carry you there. And they as a team were able to put up 6 runs yesterday, which is good offensive output for them, so they will still have to do that attack. And I think that they know, too, that there is a possibility, no matter who they play, to put up some runs. This Southeast Warren team, even though they scored 21 runs yesterday, they still gave up 8, so it's a defense that is capable of giving up some runs as well. So Edco knows they have to jump out there early. Yesterday they fell behind 1-0 early and then came back and were able to take a lead and never relinquished it for the rest of the game. And so they're going to want to come out here and jump out in front right away if they can. This is a team at Edco that has 5 senior starters. It's a experienced lineup who's played at state here back in 2024. They know what they're doing. They've got the experience. They've got the upperclassmen to do it. So it's a matter of seeing if they can pull off another upset here at the state tournament.
All right, the Vikings of Edgewood-Colesburg, the Cinderella opportunity here for a chance to maybe win 2 games here at state, but they are going to start it off with Faith Dugan and facing Allie Geisler. The first pitch on the way, and that ball is low for the 1-0 count. 12:46 is our start time. We had about an hour in between the 2 games, a little bit over an hour, because we went only 4 innings in our first game of the day here on Farm Bureau Field. 1-1 the count. Winner of that game was the 1 seed, IGHSAU, Elkhorn, Kimballton, Audubon. I said all of the words that time.
Got it.
I have to break that habit, the Elkhorn, Kimballton.
You know what I noticed in that game, even though both teams are the Spartans.
Yeah, and this one's going to be just off the mitt of Clendenin out there at second base on a little floater. That's going to be a hit. She had a long way to go there, could not quite reel that one in. So Dugan is able to get on base quickly. Dugan, before we pick that back up, Faith Dugan came in batting .525 in that leadoff spot with 8 doubles, 7 triples, 4 home runs, and she is absolutely a base-stealing threat with 34 swipes on the season. She's at first, and there she goes on the first pitch. Throw down to second, not going to be in time. A little collision there as the shortstop Ewing had to go across the bag to try to make the play. So Ava Hofer is the batter. They are facing in the circle Allie Geisler. This has been a by-committee pitching staff for the most part. 78 and 2/3 innings coming in for the sophomore Geisler with a 1.69 ERA. So she has been solid, but as we mentioned, 8 runs were scored against her yesterday. All of them earned in the 4 innings that they played against West Monona.
I was only going to finish some bookkeeping for that last matchup we had where both teams were named the Spartans, but as I went down there, I noticed that IGHSAU EHK Audubon was using the Audubon jerseys. They were the Wheelers, so I think that we should have just decided ahead of time. Let's just call them the Wheelers this game, just to make things a little simpler on everybody.
Only in Iowa high school sports. 1-2 here to Hofer. Edgewood-Colesburg, number 2 hitter. Sophomore. She's had a good season batting .337, 18 runs driven in with 3 doubles to her credit. She swings and hits this one right at third. Kiara Wallace makes the play. We've seen some great fielding so far in the first couple of days of this tournament. There's the first out. The defense behind Allie Geisler. Lola Shriver is in left with Kinley Crow in center. Harper Wallace in right. Kiara Wallace, as mentioned, at the hot corner with Belle Ewing at short. Lexi Clendenin at second. Emma Manser is at first with Medicine Olsowski, the catcher, for the right-hander Allie Geisler in the circle.
Smart, not defensive, but base running play there by Faith Dugan. A lot of times when you see a sharp hit ball like that, the runner at second will often get a huge lead off and be halfway between second and third by the time they catch the ball and have to really retreat. But she did a good job not getting too far ahead of herself, so she was able to go back and avoid getting doubled off.
Little check swing foul ball here to the 3-hitter, Rachel Eggleseder, the senior pitcher, batting the 3 spot, .463 average. She has 52 runs driven in, which is by far and away a team high, one of the best numbers you're going to see in Class 1A. 12 doubles, 3 home runs. She's walked 20 times and only struck out 4 times coming into this state tournament. 1-1 on the way. She's going to pop this one up on the infield. The pitcher, Geisler, calling for it and has it for the second out. That's a big out to get their big bat in this order.
Just reach for that one a little bit. Rachel Eggleseder, she's got an outside chance of being maybe the Gatorade Softball Player of the Year in Iowa. She's just so outstanding in the circle and at the plate. She's second in Class 1A in RBI and in wins, and she leads them in strikeouts. She just does it all for this team. She does everything for Edgewood-Colesburg.
There's the first pitch, a strike to the cleanup hitter, McKenna Hofer, senior catcher. McKenna, .390, the average on the season. Does have 24 runs driven in. And in an RBI spot with the runner at second with good speed out there in Dugan as that misses 1-1. Taylor Huber, head coach here for Edco. This is their second trip in 3 years with him at the helm.
Her, sorry. It's a toss-up when you have a Taylor, but I hear what you're saying.
I'm looking right at her. It's just thinking about Cody Reynolds. Yeah. You know how it goes.
I know how it goes.
Cody Reynolds, the coach on the other side. So Taylor, if you're thinking about this, trying to get runners in motion here early. There's a foul ball straight down here from Hofer, and it's 2-2. We've seen a lot of young coaches. It's just a lot of youth in the coaching industry that have gotten teams here. We talked about some of them, including Austin Guerrero from North Butler last night. Just a lot of interesting dynamics as this is a ground ball, knocked down, picked up Geisler. Nice strong throw to first base, and that'll retire the side. Leadoff single goes for naught to Faith Dugan. Edco doesn't get a run across, and after a half inning of play, it is Edgewood-Colesburg 0, and Southeast Warren, powerful offense coming to the plate when we come back on the Girls Union Network, powered by Mid-American Energy Company.
At Mid-American Energy, we're one company serving 1.6 million people who all need energy that's available 24/7. That's why we work 24/7. That's why we make investments in our systems that make us more resilient to extreme weather. That's why we generate power from all available resources to cover the variables in supply and demand. And that's why when the power is knocked out, we work around the clock to restore power to you. Mid-American Energy, obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
Yeah, it's a trip when you hit the road. And when you know when you've arrived. It's a trip when you get everything you want. The burger and the fries, the creek and the crick, the city and the countryside. It's a trip when you're where you're meant to be. In this moment, in this bathroom mirror, looking like $1 million. And yeah, it's a trip when it goes by fast. Des Moines. It's a trip. Make it yours.
First inning continues as Southeast Warren comes to the plate. And Lexi Clendenin, a senior second baseman, will lead off. And this offense getting back out there after 21 runs scored here in one 4-inning game yesterday. Let's see if they can pick up where they left off against a very strong pitcher in Rachel Eagleseder. Eagleseder's first pitch is inside. Clendenin on the season. We'll get to her first. What a season she's had. 603 the average. That is not a misprint. 42 runs driven in, 12 doubles, 9 home runs on the year, and came into this tournament only striking out twice. She fouls this one back out of play. 1-1. I mean, this is as tough an out as there is in this tournament.
Yeah, that's true. And just in terms of pitcher-batter combos, just about as tough of a matchup as it can have, because Rachel Eagleseder, one of the toughest pitchers that you can possibly imagine going up against in this state.
Here's the 1-1. That's ripped down the left field line. That's a fair ball. It's going to get all the way to the wall. Clendenin rounds first. She will head to second. She will pull up there. And a leadoff two-base knock for Clendenin. And that's another extra base hit, which is brought to you by Channel Seeds, the enhanced Channel Seed brand, here to help farmers like you up your game and rise to the challenge. Learn more at channel.com/rise. Man, she can hit the ball hard. And she can hit it. She can hit it in gaps. She can hit it over the fence. That is a player you are just going to have to watch as Belle Ewing digs in. We'll get to Eagleseder's numbers in a moment. First pitch is outside for ball one. Eagleseder, 32 games coming into the tournament, has been the workhorse, 180 and two-thirds innings of work, a 1.47 ERA, and 283 strikeouts and just 26 walks this season, and then defeated the number one team in the circle yesterday in Exira EHK Audubon, as this has popped up on the infield and dropped by the third baseman Vasky. Throw it down to third, and she's safe. And now the runner's going to try to take second. They won't make a throw. And that's a tough play for Edco. You got to get the outs when you have a chance to get them. And Ewing's going to reach E5.
Reaches on the air, brings up number 58.
Tough way to get the inning started, boy. After you let the leadoff double get on board, have a what looked like it should have been an easy out there, but that's why you run it out there if you're Southeast Warren, because it seemed like it was just in and out of the glove of third baseman.
Yeah, Eva Vasky over there at third. She did have to run in quite a ways, but got, I think, too close as Olsowski swings through this one. It's like one of those things where you get up on it, you get the glove in front of your face, kind of in your eyes, and then instead of getting into the pocket, it actually hits you in the hand and kind of rolls out because it got into the heel of the glove. It's an unfortunate situation there for Edco, but now they're going to have to pitch around that as this is popped out into shallow right. Almost a diving catch by Knipper. The runners will advance one base, and that will score a run as Clendenin will score. That was a hit to me.
Yeah, for sure. Would have been an incredible catch. Made a great physical play there by the right fielder, but couldn't quite haul it in. But, boy, this is the start that you wanted if you're Southeast Warren. Started exactly just like they did yesterday against West Monona.
Knipper in right field. We'll get to the rest of the defense here for Edco in a second. Emma Manser at the plate and takes a strike, 0-1. Ava Hofer out there in left field, Avery Brown in center. Kara Knipper is the right fielder for Edco. Eva Vasky at third, Faith Dugan at short. Addie Schmelzer is at second with Lauren Kirby at first. The catcher, McKenna Hofer for Rachel Egelceder. And this one flown out into shallow center. Won't make it to center. It will be the shortstop Dugan making the catch. No tag from Ewing. Nowhere really to go. So a big first out there for Edgewood-Colesburg.
Nearly dropped on that one, too. The shortstop came over, and it kind of hit the heel of her glove, too, and just about popped out, but she was able to wrangle that one, and that would have been another just disaster if that popped out.
Able to squeeze it, though, and that's the first out of the inning, and Lola Shriver is up. There's the first pitch strike. Manser, by the way, just wanted to touch on some of these offensive numbers because they don't really have a drop-off for any of these players in this order. 436 for Manser and 6 doubles, 34 runs driven in. Now Shriver at the plate. 0-1 to her. Catches the outside corner, and it's 0-2. Shriver, a senior. This experienced squad. She is batting .333. She has 11 runs driven in. Got runners on the corners, just the one out. Egelceder would love a strikeout here. Here's the pitch. That's out the outside corner. Knocked down by Hofer on the edge of her glove. It's 1-2. The Southeast Warren team also knows how to play here. And we talked about just Fort Dodge experience. 5 times in 6 years, 19 total for this school district here in state softball.
Yeah, when you look at the history of every school across Iowa, Southeast Warren's going to be up there with some of the most state tournament appearances in the history of any school. One of the most experienced teams here. One of only 2 teams in the 1A bracket who has won a state championship before. Southeast Warren won a couple in the 60s, and Clarksville's the only other team in the field that's won a championship before, which they've done twice in the last 5 years.
Including last year's. That's fouled back by Shriver. Yeah, and you've talked about it. There's just nothing like having that pressure of playing here and knowing. And then on top of that, this is maybe the most experienced team in the 1A field with as many juniors and seniors as they have in the batting order. 7 of the hitters are juniors or seniors. The 2-2, ground ball, tough play. It's going to get over the glove and knocked off of the leg. That's going to be a hit. That's a long run for Vasky, and even if she gloves it, I'm not sure she's going to be able to turn the body and make an out. Hit them where they ain't. Isn't that what they say?
Where 2 of them ain't. Where 2 of them ain't on that last play, I guess. Got through 2 of them before it finally reached the outfield.
Given RBI to Shriver.
Boy, I didn't anticipate that we would get 5 players in and still be waiting to see our first Rachel Egelceder strikeout. Again, had 15 of them yesterday against the number 1 seed in the bracket.
Popped up, turning around, reaching up, catching it is Schmelzer at second. Kinley Crow, the freshman, pops out for the second out, and that'll bring up the senior Kiara Wallace. And, you get to like Major League Baseball and even in elite college softball, and everybody's going to say, I want the elite pitcher instead of the offense, right? But that's the one thing that it was so exciting about this matchup is you have this elite offense against the pitcher that nobody really wants to face. Even though she's pitching for the number 8 seed, she just got off of beating the number 1 seed yesterday. But so far it's been the offense, even though there's been a couple of dropped balls out there in the field. These bats, they don't miss much for Southeast Warren.
Beat the 1 seed yesterday and just came off beating stage 2 Hodgkin lymphoma. We're going to talk a lot about Rachel Egelceder this game. Just an incredible story for her. She was diagnosed back in November, still played the entire basketball season. No doubt that she was going to play the softball season. Incredible young woman who's going to be playing at Kirkwood next year.
0-2. Foul tipped into the mitt. Good job by Hofer behind the plate. And there is the first strikeout for Egelceder. So 2 score, but good job just keeping a couple stranded on the base paths there for Edco. And after 1 inning of play at Southeast Warren, leading Edco 2-0. We'll head to the second after this. You're listening and watching on the Girls Union Network, powered by Mid-American Energy Company. Back here in Fort Dodge, you're watching the 2026 Girls State Softball Tournament presented by the Iowa Farm Bureau. As the sole title sponsor of the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union, Iowa Farm Bureau believes in the Iowa girl and cultivating individuals with great character, strong work ethic, and exceptional leadership skills. By investing in Iowa's youth, we're investing in Iowa's future. Iowa Farm Bureau on Farm Bureau Field. It's 2-0 Southeast Warren as we start the top of the second inning. 0-1 to Lauren Kirby, the senior first baseman, as she takes the ball outside 1-1. Didn't get a chance to introduce the umpires for today's game. Brian Pierce is calling the balls and the strikes. Troy O'Hearn is at first base. The other base umpire is Carl Wooldridge. 1-1. This one just misses 2-1.
And this is exactly the same scenario that Edgewood-Colesburg found themselves in yesterday. It was a 1-0 score after the first inning, so they did find themselves down and came back and didn't get rattled. And that's one of the most important things that you can have in a high school team playing at the state tournament is you want somebody who can face some pressure, who can get down and know that they're not quite out of it yet. Edco had to come back yesterday, pull off the 6-3 upset over the 1-seed IGHSAU Audubon, and here they are again, and they're going to have to come back again if they want to reach the next round of the tournament.
A 5-pitch walk to Kirby. Lauren Kirby came in on the season, one of the seniors, a .317 average, and had 35 runs driven in, so a really good bat in the middle of this order. She draws a walk, though, to start things off, and sophomore second baseman Addie Schmelzer now will bat with a runner on first and nobody out. And you would love, if you're Edco, to try to score at least one here and let Southeast Warren know, hey, we're still here. We're in this game.
Schmelzer, incredible day yesterday. She went 2 for 2 in the first round. She hit 2 home runs, and those were her first home runs of the season. How about not hitting a home run all year and then doing it against the 1 seed in the first round of the state tournament? Great day for Addie Schmelzer.
341 average for her, but yeah, the power's been gap power. Speaking of gap power, in the right center field all the way to the wall. Getting waved to third and held there is Kirby, and there you go. Edgewood-Colesburg, first 2 on the double from Schmelzer. Another Channel Seeds extra base hit.
So that'll be 10 total bases and 3 at-bats of the tournament so far for Addie Schmelzer. She has been torching the ball in these first 2 rounds.
Yeah, she has now 6 doubles along with 3 triples in the 2 home runs yesterday. Chloe Everett, the designated player, now will bat in an RBI situation. Everett, a .290 average, does have 18 knocked in on the season. First pitch off the outside corner, 1-0. And this is a first real challenge for Geisler. We mentioned Geisler pitched the whole game, but gave up 8 earned runs across just 4 innings. Her offense having such a big lead in those 3rd and 4th innings, I think, certainly helped. But trying to figure it out. Is this one a ground ball knocked down by the shortstop? Late throw. They're still going to get her. Excellent job sticking with it by Belle Ewing at shortstop. But it will be an RBI for Everett as the runner from third, Lauren Kirby, scores.
And looks like Addie Schmelzer is going to be called out for obstruction there. She ran into the the shortstop.
Yep. So they're going to have to actually bring back the runner at third. So the obstruction call erased the RBI. So the out goes Schmelzer. Kirby. So that'll mess up your book. Got a runner over there at first base. That is Eva Vasky. That is the flex player in that hole in the order, coming in to run for the designated player. So interference with the runner.
So how do we say Chloe Everett reached? Is that fielder's choice that you call that, or what?
I believe it's called. I think it's technically a runner interference.
Even for the one who reached first base. Okay.
Yeah. She's going to take second. Will Vasky running in that spot. Give her a steal. So Kirby is still the runner there at third base. So her run did not count. She is back there at third. Try to make sense of this a little bit later on. And it's just a tough play because the runner's just trying to run a straight line from second to third, but you have to hold up or go around a fielder and not get in her way, even though she continued to stick with it and made the out. There's a little looper into right. It'll drop, and that will score the run. Holding up at third is Vasky. That's a good job by Geisler on a short hop throw back into the infield to keep that in front of her. Otherwise, a second run could score.
Excellent resilience here for Edgewood-Colesburg. As they did yesterday, they came back after being down 1-0 early. And that's one run right on the board for them. I mean, that's exactly what you want to see as head coach Taylor Huber for this team. Again, not to get rattled against a team that has an incredible offensive attack. Things didn't go great for you in the bottom of the first inning, but you're bouncing back here, getting some runners aboard and driving in one runner already. Great bounce back for Edco.
Knipper with the RBI. And now Avery Brown as Knipper will take second base. So much was happening there. We really didn't get to talk about Kara Knipper and her statistics. 186 average coming in. She comes through with a huge hit there in the 8th spot in the order, that senior. She almost made an incredible diving catch out there in right field earlier, but comes through with an RBI in a much-needed situation. It's that one inside. It's Avery Brown. It is 1-1. The sophomore Avery Brown is the 9-hitter. She batted .247 coming into this tournament with 13 runs driven in. She walked 25 times, which is a team high, but she also struck out a team high 23 times. The 1-1. It fouls this one back off the screen, and it's 1-2. Yeah, you talk about resilience. I mean, it would have been heartbreaking to not get a run across in this inning if they were unable to get another hit or two.
Yeah, and it's tough to collect yourself sometimes after an obstruction situation like that where you think you score a run, but then somebody gets called out through almost no fault of her own, you can say.
Yeah.
Just a unfortunate collision.
This one, line drive caught by the pitcher. Runners retreat. No one was covering second as Knipper got a little bit of an extra secondary lead. But a good job reaching up and making the catch by Geisler for the second out of the inning.
Brings up the top of the order for the Vikings, number 8.
So Faith Dugan, the leadoff batter, who singled in the right first time up, she will bat with runners on second and third and 2 outs and a chance to either tie or take the lead here in the top of the second for Edgewood-Colesburg. First pitch from Geisler.
Kind of a rare
in for a strike.
Rare power hitter in that one spot. She leads the team in home runs, triples, runs, and hits. She's second in Class 1A in hits and triples, so she can hit some extra bases out of that leadoff spot.
And we'll see, even a single may be able to score a pair. It's the 0-1. That's a little high, 1-1. And this is a huge batter for Geisler because you'd love, if you're Southeast Warren, to get back in the dugout still with the lead intact. Get that offense back up there to try to tack some more on. 1-1 on the way from the righty. And that one's popped up, but it will be out of play. Again, this is a winner's bracket game, so double elimination. This is not an elimination game. Both these teams won yesterday, but you want to talk about the odds of winning a state title and how they would be affected by winning today for these teams. Certainly worth mentioning. Ground ball off of Geisler. It's going to be a tough play. At second, there will be no throw. Infield RBI single for Faith Dugan. She doesn't care how she does it. Give her a run. And the RBI, scoring Vasky from third.
2 hits and 2 innings for Faith Dugan. Exactly how you want your leadoff hitter to start things off. And as we talk about the double elimination bracket, so whoever wins this game gets the rest of today off. They won't play again until tomorrow at 12:45.
See if the runner goes, and she will, and there won't even be anyone covering second. That's usually how you see teams play that with the runners on the corners. You almost always will see the stolen base there and no throw just because they want to keep that runner at third. So Faith Dugan takes second on her second steal of the game. 1-0 the count to Ava Ho for the 2-hitter who lined out to third first time.
And with the way that this double elim works, whoever wins this game, the next matchup that we see out here could be the exact same one. So whoever wins this game, they're going to face the winner of the loser of this game against Exira EHK Audubon, who we just saw play earlier.
2-0. That bounces in. So Geisler down in the count 3-0 here. First base is open, but you know who's on deck. It's just the best hitter in this order, and Rachel Eagleseeder, or one of the best hitters. You can make the case for Faith Dugan as well, but she is on deck. 3-0, inside and low. A 4-pitch walk, second walk issued by Geisler, and now it will be Eagleseeder with the bases loaded and 2 outs here in the second with a tie game. a chance to give herself the lead and help herself out.
A situation where often the pitcher might try to pitch around Eggleseder a little bit, maybe not want to give her anything easy to hit, but there's nowhere to put her at this point.
And we'll see how much they go right at her as they go with the off speed, comes in low, 1-0. Eggleseder popped out back to Geisler in the first. And that was with a runner in scoring position as well. This time the bases are juiced. The 1-0 on the way. And that catches the inside corner. Makes it 1-1. That changes things quite a bit because a 2-0 count to this hitter, where she can just get in a hitter's count and be looking for her pitch. That 1-1 now changes some things. Here it is. Low. I mean, for a second inning at-bat, this is a major at-bat in this game.
Yeah, it could be a big turning point. Rachel Eggleseder trying to give herself an advantage as she's going to step into the circle, toe the rubber again in the bottom of the second, try to limit the damage again.
2-1 on the way. And that bounces in. That's about the same spot that she missed most of the pitches in the previous at-bat to Hofer. So now it's 3-1. Major hitters count here for Eggleseder. We'll see how aggressive Geisler is in challenging her. The 3-1. And she takes a strike. How about that? And again, Geisler going with, some secondary pitches here. Doesn't want to just throw a meatball down the middle to a great hitter. And now a full count pitch with 2 outs and the bases loaded. Geisler sets and fires. Little nubber over to the right side. Fielded cleanly by Clendenin, and a huge out for the defense for Southeast Warren to get Eggleseder, and they strand them loaded. But 2 score for Edgewood-Colesburg. They tie it up as we head to the bottom of the second inning right here on the Girls Union Network, powered by Mid-American Energy Company.
At Mid-American Energy, we're one company serving 1.6 million people who all need energy that's available 24/7. That's why we work 24/7. That's why we make investments in our systems that make us more resilient to extreme weather. That's why we generate power from all available resources to cover the variables in supply and demand. And that's why when the power is knocked out, we work around the clock to restore power to you. Mid-American Energy, obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
Whether you volunteer or hang with friends, play pickleball, read or follow trends. No matter what your retirement style, you deserve healthy eyes and a healthy smile. Some Medicare plans don't cover vision or dental. With Delta Dental, you can save on what's essential. Get coverage and take care of your health. It's peace of mind, so treat yourself. It's more affordable than you might think. Give us a call or visit this link.
8-9-1 due up for Southeast Warren here at Farm Bureau Field in Fort Dodge. State softball here presented by the Iowa Farm Bureau. Got Rachel Eggleseder back out in the circle. She was at the plate with the bases loaded last half inning and grounded out to second. That first pitch going to be lined into center by Glorious Fridley, the senior designated player, and she is aboard. Fridley entering with a .344 average. And she's at first base as Harper Wallace, the 8th grader, will come up in the 9-hole. As we mentioned, they have only one bench player because there's a 10th player, that Allie Geisler, the pitcher, who does not bat or isn't batting, and then just one bench player, Ryan Harriman, a freshman, and that's it. That's all the varsity roster.
And I think you mentioned Fridley was the only player in yesterday's win for Southeast Warren that didn't get a hit. So there she is right out of the gate, getting her first single of the week.
0-1 here to Harper Wallace, the only 8th grader on the varsity roster. She swings through this one 0-2. Wallace playing in right field. She is a .351 hitter this season with 37 at-bats to her name coming in. No extra base hits to this point, though.
Southeast Warren only fielding the 11 players. That's kind of an unusual system that we see, especially in 1A. You kind of want to just take as many players that you can have, but
this popped out of play.
I was talking to Edco's coach about that just to see what she thought about facing an 11-person roster, and she said, some teams do just decide, we don't want to bring 20 girls to every game. We just kind of want to limit it and keep things as they are, have the same steady lineup every single game. The numbers aren't tiny there. They graduate 40-plus about every graduating class at Southeast Warren, so there are options, but just want to kind of keep things steady with the same people out there every game.
This one a liner. Oh, what a catch over there by Vasky at third. She had the play on a pop-up where she ran in and was about 10 feet from home plate, had it hit the heel of her glove and slip out of her glove in that first inning. That time, she had to extend all the way to keep that in the pocket, and a big first out on the line out to retire Wallace.
Found herself airborne there for a second. Great athletes over at Edgewood-Colesburg, as we should mention that they won a state track title back in the spring. A lot of girls on this team who are part of that state championship roster for the track squad. They've got championship DNA. Had a good basketball team that made to the regional finals. Rachel Eggleseder, part of that team as well. I think the coach told me that she set the three-point school record.
This one, a little swinging bunt. Oh, that's going to be an impossible play. They'll still throw it, though, and it goes off of the glove and down into right field, and they will wave the runner around. And they're actually going to say it squirted under the fence where the bullpen is over there by the bullpen door. So I think they're going to have to call everybody back a base. But Vasky, the third baseman, getting very ambitious with that throw. I didn't think there was any chance she was ever going to be able to get her. Still fired it. It'll be a single for Clendenin on the infield hit. And then E5 with the two runners advancing an extra base. So Fridley is now at third.
I think we're going to come in and maybe the umpires have a chance to chat about, do we let that run score? Because it looked like she was going to be rounding no matter what.
But it depends. It depends on how the ruling goes, because it depends on ground rules, honestly. Because it went under, I believe it was the door of the bullpen.
Yeah, and I think they have the tarp out there, maybe, and I think it might have rolled underneath
the tarp. There you go. Yeah, that were I am at least obscured by the dugout over there, so I didn't see exactly where it got unplayable.
Yep,
they're going to put it at second and third. So it was an infield single. E5 puts two runners in scoring position. So Fridley at third, Clendenin at second, and Coach Cody Reynolds is pleading his case as well. 8 years at Southeast Warren, and we've talked about it. I mean, the reason you can go so tight with your roster is because of A, quality, but B, you want to also be able to field a team. You don't want to have just a bunch of pit players on the varsity roster getting in their uniform every game, knowing they're not going to be able to. They're not likely to get on the field.
Yeah, that's true.
And you know what? Girls will still come out because this team wins. They win all the time.
And when you get a good system going, there's no reason to mess with it. Girls know they've got to work hard to get on that roster. They know they're not just going to be given a spot there.
This one going to hit the top of the glove. Both runners will retreat, though, as Hofer got enough of it behind the plate, 1-0. Belle Ewing is the hitter. She reached on that pop-up that bounced out of the glove of Vasky at third base last inning, and she would score a run. Ewing will dig back in. The corners of the infield are in after she showed bunt that time. She will swing away here, but take a strike. 1-1. It's just a lot of moving parts in this game so far. It's still 2-2. Eggleseder going to have to pitch around, again, a defensive mistake. Right-hander looks at the pitch being called in. The 1-1. And there's a good pitch, strike two to Ewing. As we talk about these two teams and just the pitching of Eggleseder and then the hitting of Southeast Warren, what was going to give, she needs her defense to really be strong throughout here as well, because we know Southeast Warren is going to put this in play. That was about as quick a swing as you're going to see, as Belle Ewing absolutely fired that one off the barrel, but well foul.
Yeah, and I've said coming into this game I didn't think the approach was going to change for Edco and Eggleseder, but maybe that's not the case. Maybe she has had to kind of adjust her tactics a little bit, maybe avoid the strike zone just a little bit more than normal, just knowing the power that these bats have in them, because she knows that if you give anything even remotely hittable, Southeast Warren is a team that's going to take advantage. It's not like yesterday's game was just a fluke for them. Again, they've had 18 games this year scoring 10 or more runs, so no matter who the pitcher is, they can hit it.
2-2 the count to Ewing. She checks her swing, up in the zone, and it's full 3-2. First base is open, but you're getting into the middle part of the order. Ewing is a great hitter as well. 6 home runs so far this season with a .468 average in the 2-hole. So, I mean, there's just you don't get a break in this order. The 3-2. Calls the inside corner from Brian Pierce behind home plate, and that'll sit Ewing down. Gave her the inside corner there. Second strikeout for Eggleseder, and that is a huge out.
Crucial moment in the game right there for Eggleseder. Find that second out in the game, get her second strikeout of the game. She needed that one in a bad way, and now just got to do it again against Olszewski if she wants to get out of this inning unscathed.
Long pause before the pitch comes in. Olszewski calls time. She reached on an RBI single out into right field. Kara Knipper out there in right made a diving effort and just could not quite reel it in. That one in above the letters, 1-0. So it really has been just very slight margins offensively for Southeast Warren, but they do have 2 runners out there. No runs in yet here in the second. We'll see if that changes with Olszewski at the plate as she swings through this one 1-1. And if they don't score, we have to keep an eye on that play with the tarp out there in right field on the throwing error, because the tarp may have ended up saving a run for Edco unless Olszewski can get a hit here. The 1-1. Popped up. Is it playable? No, it is not. Lands above the crowd on the screen, protecting the spectators here. Good idea to have the screen across all the fields because you have multiple fields here, 3 that are in play right now with this kind of central location.
That's one of the beautiful parts of this entire complex there. Even though we're on the 5th field all the way over on the opposite side of the park, still immaculately constructed.
The 1-2. Olszewski pops this on the infield. Second baseman Schmelzer gets under it, makes the catch, and no run score. Throwing error does not come back to haunt the Vikings, and through 2, it is 2-2. Edco and Southeast Warren live here on the Girls Union Network, powered by Mid-American Energy Company.
Freedom Tire is proud to support the Iowa Girl through their sponsorship of the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union. With 6 locations around the metro, you're never far from getting you back or keeping you on the road. Our certified staff and state-of-the-art technology means you can take comfort knowing you've got the best work at the best prices. Give us a try at Freedom Tire, a proud supporter of the IGHSAU.
Third inning will begin for Edgewood-Colesburg. 4, 5, and 6 due up to face Allie Geisler. Great job by Rachel Eggleseder and the defense getting out of the jam. Nothing across. Anytime you can hold Southeast Warren to a 0, absolutely imperative. And now the Bats have a chance to potentially take the lead. Is this one a little line drive and a nice play by Kiara Wallace ranging backwards. That was going to be a tough play for Belle Ewing from shortstop. But instead, McKenna Hofer lines out softly to third. 1 pitch, 1 out.
She's 0 for 2 today. Another future college player, McKenna Hofer, going to be playing her college softball over in Dubuque at Loras College next year.
Yeah, Dubuque. You might be wondering, Edgewood-Colesburg, where is that? Not too far from Dubuque, up there in northeastern Iowa, Clayton and Delaware counties. 1-0 the count. I'm from southeast Iowa, so northeast and northwest Iowa especially were kind of, I just didn't know where a lot of these schools were until I started covering high school sports. Makes Iowa so great.
Yeah.
You know, just all these different areas when you get to a state tournament that all these teams are coming from.
Okay, yeah, I'm the same way. You know, I went over and I grew up in central Iowa, then did TV coverage in northwest Iowa and northeast Iowa, and so got to know the areas a little bit better in there. And then there's still some gaps in my knowledge when I see Southeast Warren. I'm like, well, I assume it's Warren County, wherever that is, and that's about all I can tell you about it.
Yeah, they're South Central Iowa, Milo, Liberty Center, that area kind of near Indianola, just South Central Iowa is where Southeast Warren is located. So we did a game yesterday, as it's 2-2 here to Lauren Kirby, who walked and scored first time up. We did a game yesterday where the two schools were 15 miles apart in northern Iowa. So you just never know the kind of matchups you'll see here. As this is poked out into right, but it will hold up for Harper Wallace, who makes a running catch. The two Wallace girls making catches here for Southeast Warren defensively in this third inning. That brings up Addie Schmelzer, who doubled in a right center field.
The second baseman,
That was
Schmelzer.
an absolute rocket that she hit. An extra base hit machine. It's her sixth double. She has 3 triples on top of that as well as she swings through this one.
Go along with her 2 home runs yesterday. Her first 2 homers of the season coming against the 1 seed in the first round.
Yeah, so you mentioned it. You know, you did 2 official at-bats yesterday in their upset win over Exira EHK Audubon. The 2 homers, her first 2 of the season, and then a double here to start this game. As there's a strike. Quickly, she's in the hole, though, 0-2. And one thing that could really help Southeast Warren is if Geisler can start getting going and throw up some zeros consecutively here. She gave up 2 runs last inning, but if they can start getting quick defensive innings and getting that potent offense back to the plate, that's going to give them a lot of confidence. It's the 0-2 well outside.
Yeah, because they are a team that even though they do score in bunches, their last 2 games they've given up a combined 14 runs. 8 runs in the quarterfinals yesterday. They gave up 6 runs against Wayne in the regional finals, so they've had wins, too, where they've really needed all their offense, where they've given up 8 runs, 10 runs. And so every single run matters for them. And if they can find a few empty innings that they force Edco to go scoreless, that is a major win for Southeast Warren.
Yeah, and we mentioned it. They have really been – Geisler pitched yesterday the entire 4 innings in their run rule win over West Monona and started this game. But they have 4 pitchers that have all gotten some work, and it has not been one dominant workhorse throughout the season. So it has been multiple players as Schmelzer has worked it full here with 2 outs and nobody on in a 2-2 tie, top of this third inning. The payoff pitch on the way. Oh, the off speed gets her swinging through it in a quick 1-2-3 inning for Geisler in the circle. We'll get that offense right back up for the Warhawks. We head to the bottom of the third in a 2-2 tie here on the Girls Union Network, powered by Mid-American Energy Company.
Remains tied at 2 after 2.5.
At Mid-American Energy, we're one company serving 1.6 million people who all need energy that's available 24/7. That's why we work 24/7. That's why we make investments in our systems that make us more resilient to extreme weather. That's why we generate power from all available resources to cover the variables in supply and demand. And that's why when the power is knocked out, we work around the clock to restore power to you. Mid-American Energy, obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
Something exciting is growing on Iowa farms these days. Innovation. From tractors that seed, weed, and harvest with data-driven precision to drones that scout or plant cover crops to protect soil and water. Even our animals live in smart homes with round-the-clock care. Technology keeps your food safer, water cleaner, and makes us more sustainable. Because what we do here benefits everyone here. Life on the farm makes everyone's life better.
Bottom of the third inning, Southeast Warren will have the lower third of the order due up. Southeast Warren, my mistake, had the wrong page. I am middle of the order.
Turn it back around. There we go.
Emma Manser, Lola Shriver, and Kinley Crow.
Number 23, the first baseman, Emma Manser.
Manser popped out too short first time up back in the first inning. Emery Songer, Owen Sebring here on the call with you at Farm Bureau Field, the Class 1A second round. This is 2 teams who won yesterday in this double elimination bracket. Neither team will be eliminated either way, as there's a strike. 1-1 is the count.
Yeah, both teams today now guaranteed to play at least 3 games at this year's state tournament, maybe even more.
That used to be the way that things were done either way, as this ball floated out into center and caught by Avery Brown for the first out.
Didn't know if we might see the ball start to carry a little bit. The first game we called today, a little bit dead out there, not much weather-wise going on, but as I was out kind of talking to the coaches before the game, the wind was starting to swirl a little bit. Some wind moving around some, but no home runs yet, something that we could at least be watching for because the ball could be carrying in some funny ways in this game.
Yeah, it's blown in a little bit from left field. I'm seeing the trees in just a little bit. We don't have flags out in center, but the heat isn't going to help it today because it is almost 20 degrees cooler today right now than it was at this time yesterday. Wow. It's 1-0 the count. The second pitch to Shriver misses. It's 2-0 as Shriver, first time up, an RBI single back in the first inning for the Warhawks.
Yeah, yesterday had to do the hydration breaks between each inning after the third. Not going to be a situation we have to worry about, at least in these early games today, unless it really heats up later in the day.
Called strike makes it 2-1. Well, in the age of the hydration break, if there was ever a day for it, yesterday was the day, just to make sure that everybody was able to stay cool in between innings. 2-1 the count. And this is fouled straight back by Shriver, and it is 2-2.
Lola Shriver, I've got a little interesting backstory that I got from head coach Cody Reynolds because I was asking for any storylines on the roster, and could be an interesting dilemma on the hands of Southeast Warren if they get to the championship game on Friday.
2-2. She hits this off the end of the bat right back to the pitcher. Up with it is Eggleseder, and she'll throw her out. 1-3 on the put out for the second out of the inning. So
here's a dilemma they may be facing because Lola Shriver and Madison Olsowski, both farm girls, they both show pigs. Okay, so the Warren County Fair is going on this Friday, same day as the 1A state championship game. So if they reach that game, they would want to be showing their pigs, but also, of course, they're going to be wanting to play in the state championship game too. So we already have a plan in place for if that scenario does happen, okay? So
here's the pop-up. We'll hold that thought as this one is on the third base side. Vasky catches it, and Kinley Crow pops out, and that'll retire the side.
Good chance for a tease because how can this team show pigs and play in a championship in one day? Find out after the break.
And we will have that for you as we head to the fourth inning. It is 2-2. Edgewood-Colesburg will bat. Southeast Warren will defend when we come back in the Girls Union Network powered by Mid-American Energy Company.
Yeah, it's a trip when you hit the road. And when you know when you've arrived. It's a trip when you get everything you want. The burger and the fries, the creek and the crick, the city and the countryside. It's a trip when you're where you're meant to be. In this moment, in this bathroom mirror, looking like $1 million. And yeah, it's a trip when it goes by fast. Des Moines. It's a trip. Make it yours.
Excelling in athletics takes teamwork, dedication, and a commitment to excellence. These are the same qualities that help our pig farmers and our communities thrive. The Iowa Pork Producers Association is proud to support statewide high school athletics and the student athletes who make us all proud. Visit iowapork.org/WeCare to meet the people behind the pork and hear about our winning approach to caring for our pigs, the environment, and our communities.
Here we are in the fourth inning, top of the fourth, 8-seed Edgewood-Colesburg, tied with number 5 seed Southeast Warren, 2-2. And the first pitch to Chloe Everett to lead off here in the top of the fourth is a strike 0-1. Everett reached on what would have been a ground out. She grounded out to short, but it was ruled as interference. And she's going to go out to the other middle infielder this time, Clendenin up with it, an easy 4-3 put out. An interesting play, to say the least, but it ended up with a couple of runs scoring anyway for Edgewood-Colesburg. It probably worked out the same way, run scoring-wise, as it would have either way. So a quick first out here for the designated player Everett, and Kara Knipper will now bat. But you were talking about how Southeast Warren got a couple of players who have the Warren County Fair that they're kind of trying to juggle with this if they make it to Friday's state championship game.
Yeah, that's right. So they would be showing pigs early in the morning. And head coach Cody Reynolds, he's got a buddy who's got an 8-seater plane to his at his disposal. And so their plan would be, because it's about a 2-hour drive from Southeast Warren High School to Fort Dodge, and so they would show the pigs in the morning, hop on the plane. It's about a 25 flight from there to Fort Dodge, and then they would play in the championship that day at 2:30. So that's kind of what's at stake. And as Lola Shriver and Madison Olsowski trying to have it all on Friday if they make it there, showing pigs in the morning, trying to win themselves a blue ribbon, and then coming over here and trying to win a state championship.
Warren County Fair over there in Indianola, and This one ripped foul by Knipper, 1-2. I've heard some fair stories, right? Like county fair stuff with teams that would be playing in the state softball, and they're not all this week, not all the county fairs this week, but there are several that are this week. And, it's quite interesting. 1-2, Knipper gives this one a ride to left field, backing up his Shriver right on cue. The pig shower is able to make the catch for the out.
Yeah, just one. I mean, there's.
So would they drive home and then fly here?
I mean, I assume that they'd drive home because no matter what, they would not have a game on Thursday. So I'd assume they'd drive home
barring
on Wednesday.
some weather situation.
That's true.
Yeah.
Drive home on Wednesday, do whatever they do on Thursday, potentially practice, do whatever, and then would fly back after showing on Friday morning because the championship game is at 2:30 on Friday for Class 1A.
Got a pinch hitter coming up here for Edgewood-Colesburg. Kalissa Reimer is going to bat in the 9-hole for Avery Brown. So Reimer is the hitter. Kalissa, a freshman. Avery Brown lined back to the pitcher back in the second inning.
But isn't that just one of those stories where you think, boy, I love living in Iowa. Yeah. This is a truly Iowan story. You're not going to have a story like that down in Florida or over in, I don't know, Washington or something. Maybe they'd have a story like that. But I don't know how things work in Washington.
But everybody else plays spring softball.
Yeah, that's true. Spring or fall. Yeah, that's true.
We're the only ones playing in the summer when most of the fairs would be happening around the country. As Reimer, 16 at-bats coming into the state tournament, 312 the average, so a good bench bat to have here. 1-1 with 2 outs. She fouls this one back. 1-2, hitting in the 9-hole here. Yeah, but that's interesting. The fact that he happens to also have a buddy, Coach Reynolds has a buddy who just like, hey, you know what? I got a private plane. We can just fly the girls back up here.
Don't know if it exactly fall under the PJ category, but as far as Iowa standards go, it's as good as the PJs you're going to get.
Right. Popped out into center. Crow under it. Had to run in after getting a late read. Makes a basket catch to retire the side. That is 7 in a row retired by Geisler in the circle, and we are halfway home in regulation in Fort Dodge. Class 1A second round. 2-2 Edgewood-Colesburg in Southeast Warren. We'll come back with more on the Girls Union Network powered by Mid-American Energy Company.
At Mid-American Energy, we're one company serving 1.6 million people who all need energy that's available 24/7. That's why we work 24/7. That's why we make investments in our systems that make us more resilient to extreme weather. That's why we generate power from all available resources to cover the variables in supply and demand. And that's why when the power is knocked out, we work around the clock to restore power to you. Mid-American Energy, obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
Looks like another perfect day to get out there and enjoy the summer.
It's easy to choose.
Iowa State Fair, August 13th through the 23rd.
First pitch is lifted out into left center field, and it will be snagged by Avery Brown. Kiara Wallace able to get contact on it, but one pitch, one out. As all of a sudden, both of these pitchers seem to be settling in after the offenses score a couple of runs in the first 2 innings. It's 2-2, and Kiara Wallace now 0 for 2, as Rachel Egelseeder now has retired the last 6 she's seen. And now Glorious Fridley is singled first time up back in the box. And she swings through this 1-0-1.
Got to give some credit to the Southeast Warren pitcher in this one, Allie Geisler, for going up there and pitching 3 empty frames so far. After giving up a couple early runs, they only had 1 inning yesterday where they left where they didn't allow at least 1 run to score. So having 3 so far where they don't let any runs across for Edgewood-Colesburg, already a major win for Southeast Warren.
And a major win for Edgewood-Colesburg as well. 2 early runs here. It's like, here we go again with the Southeast Warren offense. But so far, Egelseeder has been able to kind of keep things on the down low. As a quick good morning, good afternoon, good night strikeout on 3 swings from Glorious Fridley. And that is strikeout number 3. She's well below her strikeout totals usually into the fourth inning, just her third strikeout. She's usually getting a couple per inning, but she's got 2 quick outs here, and now the 9-hitter Harper Wallace, who lined out to third on a great play by Eva Vasky, reached up and made a leaping catch, robbed of a hit, and now she digs in with 2 out and nobody on, and she takes a strike 0-1.
Yeah, Rachel Eggleseder, she came into this game, I think, with 317 strikeouts on the season, including the game at the state tournament yesterday. So reaching 320, and if she gets a couple more games in with some good performances, could possibly even approach 350 strikeouts for the season. Just one of the great pitchers that we've ever seen in Northeast Iowa.
Yeah, I mean, you can't even really put that into context properly. Quick 0-2 count here to Wallace.
One of those players that just kind of comes along once in a while that you have to appreciate, have to see her in person to really appreciate what she can do.
Puts this one off the outside corner here, 1-2 the count. But, I mean, anytime Southeast Warren has an inning where they do not score, it is notable, to say the least. And this could be potentially the third inning in a row that a 0 is put up by Eggleseder in this defense. This one's fouled off, and we will do it again. You have to go back to that second inning also, where there was a throwing error by Vasky at third base on what was ruled an infield hit, but it runs into the tarp down there in right field, and because of that, a runner that would have scored was called back to third base, and that runner never ended up scoring for Southeast Warren a couple of innings ago. As there's a swing and a miss, down goes Harper Wallace, and back-to-back Ks. That is now 8 in a row retired by Eggleseder in the circle. Let's go to the 5th. Good one brewing here. Edgewood-Colesburg will hit in the 5th, tied with Southeast Warren here on the Girls Union Network, powered by Mid-American Energy Company.
Excuse me, man. You dropped this.
Oh. To the top of the order for Edgewood-Colesburg as they face Allie Geisler, who's really settled in the last couple of innings. First pitch by Dugan, lifted deep into center, reaching up, getting a glove on it, but can't get it into the mitt for the out. Dugan's going to get credit for a double.
Brings up number 4.
Almost an incredible play by Kinley Crow out there in center as she had to kind of adjust her route to the ball as it just kept carrying. Maybe that's the first sign that maybe things are flying a little bit better than they were early this morning when we were out here for our game earlier on. But Faith Dugan with her third hit reaches again, and she represents a go-ahead run here in the 5th inning with that double. So we get the first pitch here to Ava Hofer. She shows bunt, goes through it, 0-1. And, of course, every extra base hit brought to you by Channel Seeds, the enhanced Channel Seed brand, here to help farmers like you up your game and rise to the challenge. Learn more at channel.com/rise. 0-1 to Hofer with the runner on second, nobody out. She's going to line this one into right field. That's going to get down for a hit. Picked up by Wallace. She'll fire it in. They're going to hold the runner at third. Dugan had to hold up, didn't get a great read on whether or not that was going to be caught by Wallace, but the single puts him on the corners. And after 7 in a row were retired by Geisler, all of a sudden a couple of hits here. And you'd imagine Hofer's going to be on her way to second very quickly in this at-bat for Eggleseder, who is the most dangerous bat in the middle of this order. She digs in 0-2. She shows bunt, pulls back, takes a ball as Hofer does trot on into second base without a throw.
Kind of like this position you're in for Edgewood-Colesburg. Got your best hitter at the plate, 2 runners in scoring position, no outs, a lot of room to work with.
And now with first base open, you have to wonder if you do something else with Eggleseder here and not let her beat you. But we'll see. Is Cody Reynolds, head coach, going to come out and talk to his infield and battery? I mean, what would you do in this situation? First base open, you know,
Well, we've done well against Eggle Cedar so far when she's been at the plate. She popped out to pitcher in her first at-bat, just a simple ground out to second in her next at-bat. So she has not done as well at the plate in this game, and so you kind of think, okay, do we kind of have her number at the plate? Does Geisler
or
is she due?
Is she due?
The age-old question.
Because this is not a hitter that you generally would see get retired 3 times in a row.
Yeah.
463 the average. And, I mean, we're talking about 52 RBIs coming into the tournament.
Mm-hmm.
So I got to be completely honest with you. With a first base open, I would definitely not be giving her anything to hit.
Yeah.
I'll take my chances with McKenna Hofer on deck. And if she beats me, okay. But to let the best bat beat me, that'd be a tough thing to do. And again, this is a 5th inning. You have plenty of time left for your offense, but this is a big moment right here.
She showed bunt in her first at bat. I mean,
the first pitch here.
First pitch.
Well, you never know. 1-0. Geisler delivers. This one lined into left. There is the hit. 1 run will score. 2nd run being waved around. There will be no throw. A 2-run single by Eggle Cedar, and Edco takes a 4-2 lead.
Wow, there's what we've been waiting for all game from Eggle Cedar. 2 empty at-bats her first couple times to the plate in this game. Now steps in and delivers her team the lead. After a few empty frames for Edgewood-Colesburg, Southeast Warren looked like they might have been settling in the pitching circle, but now we've got 3 hits in the first 3 at-bats of the inning.
Got a courtesy runner here for Eggle Cedar.
Now running at first base, number 21, Josie Deers.
Josie Deers is the runner for Eggle Cedar. But again, this is going to be a foul ball. Deers at first. And she is a freshman who has scored 30 runs as a runner, mostly running in this spot in the order for Eggle Cedar.
Well, if she's the runner you're running for, you're going to be on base a lot.
Yeah, that's a fair point. This one going to be delivered for ball 1. 1-1 here to McKenna Hofer, who is also 0-for-2 in the cleanup spot. Geisler's done a great job navigating this middle part of the order to this point before the Eggle Cedar single that scores a couple here. Hofer, a ground out to the pitcher, and then a line out to Kiara Wallace last time up back in the 3rd. As that misses for ball 2. We've mentioned this also. Geisler pitched all of the 4 innings yesterday in what was a run rule win for her team, but she gave up 8 runs. But she has not been just the workhorse. She has worked more than anyone else on this team in the circle, but they have been a by-committee pitching staff. So we'll see how long the leash may be here for her if these Edco bats start moving. As this is a ground ball, it will find a hole up the middle. The seeing eye single by Hofer puts another one on base, and there's still nobody out here in the 5th.
4 straight hits. You do wonder when they might start to look to Lexi Clendenin to step in. She's seen a lot of action in the circle this year. 9 appearances, 41 in the 3rd innings pitched. 23 strikeouts. Her ERA number is a little bit higher, 3.22. But she is a capable pitcher in there as well. And if you're Southeast Warren, just don't want to let this game get away from you. Yes, you can bring yourself back into the game with the bats that you swing at the plate, but if there's a couple more hits that get aboard here for Edgewood-Colesburg, I wouldn't be surprised if we start to see Southeast Warren maybe start to get some action in the bullpen.
Faith Kirby, another freshman, going to get in as a courtesy runner for the catcher McKenna Hofer after her single with runners on 1st and 2nd. And substitutions in today's game, all brought to you by IMT Insurance. Learn how you can be worry-free with IMT at imtins.com. Sacrifice bunt here by Lauren Kirby is going to move both runners up for the first out. That's going to go 5-3. So 1 away. It's a good job by Kirby. She's in an RBI spot in the order and lays down a perfect sacrifice bunt to put 2 in scoring position for Schmelzer.
I have times where I wonder about, okay, is this a good sacrifice position? Do you really want to lay a bunt down here with somebody who's in the middle of your order? But that seemed like a smart one. If you've already scored 2 runs, got 2 runners on base already, no outs.
Don't get greedy.
Just seems like an easy situation where you're like, all right, let's go ahead and just move these runners over and see if we can get 1 or 2 more in this inning.
And Schmelzer.
Who's been outstanding.
One of the hottest hitters in 1A through a day and a half so far of games played here. 2 homers yesterday, and she doubled her first time up against Geisler in the 2nd. She takes the ball outside 1-0, and the infield kind of lurking as if they don't want to play too far back in the corners also and just give her a chance to try to lay down a squeeze, because we've seen that happen in the first day and a half of 1A ball as well. So a lot to think about if you're Southeast Warren. The 1-0, this one way high, 2-0.
I was wondering, too. We saw it a couple ABs ago with Rachel Eggleseder, how much they were going to give her something to hit, which they certainly did, and she took advantage of it. But with Schmelzer up there, how much are you really going to want to pitch to her after the bat that she's been swinging at State this week?
And you can set up a force at every base with first base open, but we'll see if they go after her. They do, and she swings through it 2-1. You got to get outs. At the same time, you want to try to give yourself the best opportunity to get important outs as well. The way the infield is set up, a ground ball to short or second, they're unlikely to get an out at home plate. So you would figure trying to throw her out at first to get the second out, but we will see. The infield not all the way in. There are a couple of steps in, but we'll see as this is swing and a miss, 2-2. And what would solve that problem for Southeast Warren is a strikeout from Geisler, to be completely honest with you.
Yeah, Schmelzer might have gained a little bit of confidence there, but now a 2-2 count. She could be facing her second straight strikeout now.
Yeah, she did strike out back in the third, and that is the only strikeout of the game for Geisler. She fouls this one off to stay alive, 2-2. That is the one thing about Geisler, not a strikeout pitcher, whereas Eggleseder really relies on the strikeouts. And we hadn't seen a lot of strikeouts so recently for her. Well, Geisler, she really is pitch to contact, let the defense work behind her. Well, we're seeing the contact, 4 straight hits to start this inning for Edgewood-Colesburg. 2 runs already in, and they lead at 4-2. This 2-2 pitch is way high, and it's full, 3-2 here to the number 6 hitter, Addie Schmelzer.
Yeah, getting to a point in the game where you can't mess around too much with allowing any base runners unnecessarily with walks. You just kind of got to put it across the plate and hope your defense can make some plays behind you.
The payoff pitch to Schmelzer. Popped foul and unplayable over the first base dugout. 8th pitch of this battle upcoming. Coach Taylor Huber in the third base coach's box, making sure everybody knows on the base pass, still 1 out. And continuing to encourage Schmelzer. She digs back in for another 3-2. This one a line drive. It's in the left field. A base hit. Around third is the runner. It's going to be cut off. Sliding in safely is Faith Kirby. A 2-run single for Schmelzer. She continues to swing. And in fuego bat.
Boy, if you're Edco, who's your MVP of this week so far? Is it Rachel Eggleseder, or is it Addie Schmelzer now, who's 4 for 5 in the first 2 rounds, 2 home runs yesterday, a double, and now a 2-run single today to give her team a 6-2 lead. Boy, has that girl been clutch today.
Now, 3 straight innings, Eggleseder has silenced these Southeast Warren bats, but you cannot take that for granted. There are still 9 defensive outs they have to get against the premier offense in 1A.
Very reminiscent of the game yesterday between North Butler and Clarksville, where there was just never a safe lead in sight if you were North Butler. I think they took, a 6-2 lead going into the 7th inning?
Yeah.
Clarksville came back and tied it, sent it to what was the first of many, many extra innings.
It's too soon to have to relive that one blow for blow. What a game that was.
You know that no lead is going to be safe for this Southeast Warren team.
That was honestly just one of the most insane games that has ever taken place here in the Girls State Softball Tournament. Is this one going to be a poke out into center? Long run, can't quite squeeze it, is Crow. And now turning at second, making a run to third, and then into second behind her is Everett. So Chloe Everett gets a single. That's the second time we've seen an outfielder dive full extension, just can't quite pull it in. And then she advances to second on the throw to third. So Schmelzer heads up base running.
Yeah, that was a smart play by her. I mean, after she couldn't even get a great leadoff because you didn't know if the ball was going to be caught, she just went for it. I think she looked over at her coach, Taylor Huber, and just knew right away, all right, she wants me to go. And so it was smart play by both the coach and player to kind of know, all right, it's going to take them a second to really recover from this, and knew they had just enough time to get somebody over in third. And now we've got 2 runners in scoring position once again for Edco, still with only 1 out on the board.
Eva Vasky, the flex player Chloe Everett's hitting for, is now running at second. 4 already in, and 2 more in scoring position now for Edgewood-Colesburg. And as we mentioned, you can't get a lead big enough against this offensive Southeast Warren. They have 3 innings to work with still. Be interesting to see how Geisler is able to navigate Knipper here, who takes the ball 1-0. Knipper singled in the right field in the second and then flew out to left in the 4th. That is 6 hits in 7 batters for Edco against Geisler here, 3rd time through the order. The 1-0. That's a rope out in the left. That'll get down. Another one will score. A second one on the way. The relay throw not going to be on target. And another 2-run hit, this time by Kara Knipper. That is the third 2 RBI single of the inning for Edgewood-Colesburg. And Cody Reynolds is going to come out to the circle, and we'll see what he has to say. A 6 spot, a huge number here for Edco. The 8th seed in this tournament. And now Southeast Warren, we're going to have to figure it out because this is one of those things that, I don't know what you can do here other than, hey, they're swinging a really high bat. We got to come up with a different playbook here for these hitters because 8 batters have hit this inning. It's their 3rd time through, and 7 of them have a hit. And the other one of them was a sacrifice bunt that she was asked to lay down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that's just – and no cheap ones either. I mean, every hit has been so solid to just an empty part of the park. It's been just a perfectly played inning, and I love seeing the aggressive nature that Taylor Huber has had over on the third baseline, that she's just not letting anything slow down. When she sees a runner in action, she's waving those arms, making sure they're going home. As I like to say, with a game like high school softball, keep doing it, be aggressive until the other team can prove you wrong. And so far, she's been right every single time so far. She's had some close plays where she's been aggressive with the base running, and it's paid off every single time.
The relay there from Wallace at third base was a little bit wide. Otherwise, they would have had a shot to maybe get Vasky at home. But instead, it was another 2-run single. It is Avery Brown hitting once again. She was hit 4 last time by Kalissa Reimer last inning. Brown lined out to the pitcher in the second. 0-1 the count to her here. She shows bunt, lays it down. It's a good one. Wallace with it. She'll throw to first for the out. Staying at second is Knipper.
Yeah, I like that bunt situation too, even though you have just one runner on base. What it does is it allows you to at least get back to the top of the order when you have Faith Dugan coming up, who's 3 for 3, 3 base hits today. Wonder how much they're going to want to pitch to her too, or pitch around her a little bit. Had a double last time up. She's been just about as good as anybody in the state tournament.
There's a pinch runner coming in now, and it looks like this is Jenna Hammond.
Now running at second base, number 9, Jenna Hammond.
So the pinch runner for Knipper at second, a little bit more speed, and Huber's in the third base coach's box, Taylor Huber, wanting to wave her around. This is going to be a ground ball. It's knocked down by the first baseman Mansur. She picks it up, steps on the bag to get Faith Dugan. That's a huge out right there. But the damage was done. 10 come to the plate, 6 score, and Edgewood-Colesburg, the 8th seed, has an 8-2 lead over Southeast Warren. Still have 3 defensive innings they have to get some outs in. We will see what they do next when we come back on the Girls Union Network powered by Mid-American Energy Company.
Life's buzzing with energy. From the delightfully routine, to the novel and exciting, to the truly uncharted. With all that life brings, it's easy to lose track of what powers all those moments, our health. At Mercy One, our caring doctors focus on just that, powering health, from the everyday to the extraordinary. So you're ready for what life brings next. Find care at mercyone.org/healthpowerslife.
Something exciting is growing on Iowa farms these days. Innovation. From tractors that seed, weed, and harvest with data-driven precision to drones that scout or plant cover crops to protect soil and water. Even our animals live in smart homes with round-the-clock care. Technology keeps your food safer, water cleaner, and makes us more sustainable. Because what we do here benefits everyone here. Life on the farm makes everyone's life better.
Back here on what is a very interesting field all week long so far at Farm Bureau Field. Emery Songer and Owen Sebring with you. It is Iowa Girls State Softball Tournament action presented by Iowa Farm Bureau. And Edgewood-Colesburg, the 8th seed in this tournament after beating Exira EHC Audubon yesterday, the 1 seed, now have an 8-2 lead, a 6-run 5th inning, and they have a dominant pitcher trying to go against this great Southeast Warren offense. 9 outs away from winning their first 2 games here in Fort Dodge. The 1-0.
This is a part of the order for Southeast Warren that you went to the plate. They're starting things off right at the top of things. Lexi Clendenin, who's got 2 hits today, a single and a double and a run scored. She's coming up, and this is just the part of the order to try to bounce back if you're Southeast Warren.
That pitch low, and it's 3-0 to her here. And they have a lot of power with Belle Ewing in the on-deck circle. They have some great contact hitters throughout. We've talked about it. Their worst hitter, if you want to say that, is still hitting in the 330 range in this order, as there's a get-me-over strike 3-1. But, again, we're talking about a really strong pitcher in Rachel Egelseeder, who, again, you could put up pretty much against any other arm in this tournament. And that's not even just 1A that I'm talking about. As this one popped up high, is it playable? It is not, as it will hit the top of this netting here over the crowd, and it makes it a 3-2 count to Clendenin.
Yeah, Rachel Egelseeder has the second most strikeouts of any player in the state of Iowa in any class. Pitcher over at Albia has more than her, but that's the only person in the state who's had more strikeouts than Egelseeder this season.
6 runs on 7 hits that last inning for Edco, and that just misses inside corner. Ball 4. Clendenin is aboard, and you don't see a lot of walks issued by Egelseeder either. So that was a tight pitch, but home plate umpire Brian Pierce says that was a ball just inside, and now Belle Ewing, in her 6 home runs this season, steps in as Southeast Warren wants to get things going with the top of this order. We'll see how aggressive they are on the base pass with Clendenin. First pitch, a line drive. That'll be a base hit into left. So Ewing comes up, ready to hit. She gets her first hit of the ball game. And now all of a sudden the first 2 are aboard for this Warhawk offense that we continue to talk about. And we said it. You can't score enough against them because of what they can do. They put 21 on the board yesterday against West Benona.
Very reminiscent just of the top of the 5th inning when Edgewood-Colesburg came out there and just started putting runners aboard, and eventually it turned into 6 runs, and Southeast Warren trying to go toe-to-toe right here. Do the exact same thing.
Olszewski on the first pitch gets a fister out into center. They will hold the runner at third, and now the runner at second base, and diving back in, they throw behind the runner at third. Belle Ewing, I think, was looking at Cody Reynolds in the third base coach's box and expected the runner to be sent. Well, instead, they were able to retreat and nobody is out.
I think that might have been a tactical move as well, because the farther the runner at second got off the base, I think they were hoping to trap the catcher into throwing it back to second, which would have allowed the runner from third to score. So who knows exactly what was going on mentally for anybody, but it was, I think, a smart play by the catcher there not to just fire it back over to second, because that probably would have allowed a runner from Southeast Warren to score. Maybe you could have gotten it out there, maybe not. But
and again, even if she throws behind her, she's halfway to third.
Mm-hmm.
She's just going to keep going to third. So you may not get anything out of that. That's the thing about these 60-foot base paths. So much havoc can be wreaked by a good base running team. You're seeing the aggressive nature for a lot of these teams at state, but also just making teams throw the ball, forcing accurate throws. Cleanup batter Emma Manser, who has popped out and flown out her first two times up, will hit with the bases loaded and nobody out. And it's a 6-run deficit, but it still very much feels in reach because of how potent this offense is.
What helped put the game away yesterday was a grand slam by Southeast Warren. They're in place to do the same thing again, potentially.
Manser digs in. First pitch to her. She sees it inside. 1-0 the count. And this is Egelseeder we're talking about, which is, a strikeout pitcher. A strikeout would be a huge thing for her if she can just get one out on the board. Ground ball. This is going to be a low. They're going to go home, and it's off of the glove of McKenna Hofer, and then the throw comes back. No one covering home. 2 runs are going to score on that, on the throw from Vasky. That is another errant throw that we have seen here. This has been a theme in this tournament so far in 1A. So the error on the throw home scores 2. She had her, too. If that's an accurate throw, she had her at home. She had the right idea, but 2 runs score, and now runners on the corner, still nobody out for Shriver.
Yeah, just kind of hit off the top of the glove of the catcher there. And, smart play. Would have been in the right spot, but now that lead shrinks from a 6-run lead to a 4-run lead.
And still nobody out.
And still 2 runners on the corners for Southeast Warren.
And how about the second runner coming in and scoring on that play?
Wow.
A lot of times you wouldn't see that, but the aggressive base running from Southeast Warren has made it 8-4. Shriver swings through this one, and she's down in the count 0-2. She did have an RBI single back in the first inning and is looking to try to make it happen here.
Yeah, Rachel Eggleseder knows that she's got to reach down and find her best stuff in this moment. You want to limit the damage as much as you can and hang on to that lead.
This is a ground ball. Vasky's going to get another shot at it. They're going to come home again. This time a good throw, and they get her at the plate. Great job by Vasky hanging in there, and this time throwing an accurate throw home to Hofer, who's able to make the tag and eliminate Olsowski on the base pass.
Yeah, smart play, exactly what you needed. You needed to find an out one way or another, by hook or by crook. Just find somebody to get out, and that's exactly what they got. And a good clutch play by both the third baseman and the catcher, even though the execution wasn't there in the last play. They went back to it exactly the same way and pulled it off that time.
Yeah, so now it is Shriver at first, Manser at second, one out. This one knocked down by Hofer on ball one here to Kinley Crow, who has popped out on the first pitch each of the first two times that she's come to the plate. Haven't had a chance to talk about her too much. Freshman who is batting in this order 324, 7 doubles, a triple, and a home run coming into the state tournament. The only freshman in the order.
She had that. She had another home run. She was the one who hit the grand slam yesterday, so she had a home run, 6 RBI in yesterday's game.
For a freshman in an upperclassman-laden roster here. She fouls that one off, and it's 1-1. Now, if Eggleseder and Edco get out of this with just a 2-run scoring, they're going to feel really, really good, but they're still only one out in the inning. Crow back in the box. It's 1-1. Well outside, knocked down, 2-1.
And at this point, no matter what, she's going to see the meat of that order once again, either in the 6th or the 7th inning. No matter what happens in this one, you got to face the really tough bats in this lineup again in this game.
Yeah, for sure. 2-1. Popped up again. Crow to the shortstop, and she can't see it. It drops, but it's infield fly, so it doesn't matter. That's an out, and the runners cannot advance. So the infield fly.
Batters out on the infield fly roll. Brings up number 3.
Runners stay. Shriver at first, Manser at second. So it's the first infield fly we've seen in the 1A tournament.
I rarely actually see the infield fly hit the ground.
Usually
see them still just catch it, but
I'm not sure Dugan even saw it, to be honest with you. She was looking
the same
for
thing.
And she's looking up now, just trying to,
get her bearings.
Yeah, like, what do I have to do different next time? Obviously, in that situation, you can turn a double play, which is why the infield fly rule exists, because the runners have to stay close to their bags. This inside corner strike to Kiara Wallace, who was 0 for 2, struck out in the first, and then in the fourth flew out to center. Eggleseder trying to pitch around a defensive misplay and a couple of hits. This is going to be a rope into left field. That will get down for a hit. Hofer up with it in left field. Manser will be held at third, and now the bases are loaded again for Glorious Fridley, the 8th hitter who did single first time up back in the second.
Glorious Fridley.
So Wallace with the single loads him up for Fridley. Eggleseder again, and the infield has to be aware of everything that's going on and which base they want to make the out. First pitch, swung on and missed, 0-1. And again, after a few kind of quiet innings with both pitchers and defenses really just kind of settling in, Edco in the top half of this 5th and now Southeast Warren in the bottom half really starting to get it going third time through the order. This one outside, 1-1. You hear about like all the analytics at the higher levels of baseball and softball with that third time through and how that sometimes is where a team can break through against a solid pitcher. We've seen it with both of these teams so far here in this 5th inning. The 1-1. Fouled back, 1-2, and Eggleseder is 1 strike away from getting out of the inning and holding on to what would be still a sizable 4-run lead.
Yeah, we're at a point in the game where, again, momentum keeps shifting one way or another. That's the name of the game in high school softball, is that the momentum can tip in either favor at any point in the game. We saw that again a lot yesterday with Clarksville North Butler.
This one going to be popped up. This is in an awkward spot, but backing up on it is Schmelzer, and she makes the catch, and they do get out of it and leave them loaded. What a job by Eggleseder and the defense to step up and only have 2 score in the inning. We're through 5. It is Edgewood-Colesburg 8, Southeast Warren 4 as we head to the 6th here on the Girls Union Network powered by Mid-American Energy Company.
SWIC is a community. Southwestern Community College is a place in rural southwest Iowa where students from across the world come to be a part of a tight-knit family, Spartan Nation, where they study, train, grow, thrive, and are called by name, not by number. At SWIC, we are one.
Class 1A being played here at Farm Bureau Field at the Harlan Rogers Sports Complex in Fort Dodge. Emery Songer, Owen Sebring here with you on the Girls Union Network, powered by Mid-American Energy Company. The top of the sixth inning, we'll see the 2, 3, and 4 hitters here for the Vikings of Edgewood-Colesburg. They still lead in the game 8-4. So they still have a lead, but Southeast Warren did chip away a couple in that bottom of the fifth inning. We'll see if Geisler can settle in. She had to face 10 hitters in the last inning, and it wasn't cheapies, it wasn't errors. These were 7 hits by this talented Edco roster that ended up finding a way to plate 6 runs in the last frame.
When you're playing a team like Southeast Warren, there's no lead that is safe. And you know that unless you're getting about 12 runs, you're not going to feel comfortable. Because
I mean, even then. Let's be honest. They scored 21 runs yesterday.
In their last 7 games, they've scored 12 or more runs. So this is a team that's...
This is a line drive. What a catch! Clendenin at second, robbing Ava Hofer. Wow.
So when you look through their last 7 games, 12 runs, 13 runs, 18 runs, 12 runs, 8 runs, 13 runs, and then, of course, the 21 runs they put up yesterday in the quarterfinals of the state tournament. So if Edco somehow holds them to only 4, that would be a massive development, because you got to think that with the meat of the order coming up at least once more for Southeast Warren, they could have more in the tank.
For sure, and you know what? It helps when your defense is making plays like that. That can really start. That can help the offense. Get just vibes up. As Clendenin makes an awesome catch to start the inning, as Eaglescedar digs in with the bases empty and 1 out. 1-0 the count to her. She grounds this one over to third. Wallace up with it, fires across the diamond in time for the out. Eaglescedar a 2-run single. But other than that, she's been quiet at the plate, just 1 for 4.
You start to wonder sometimes, too, about, with how good Edgewood-Colesburg has looked in the first 2 rounds, upsetting the number 1 seed and now testing a really outstanding Southeast Warren team. Gosh, how did they end up as an 8 seed? But really in the regular season, there were a lot of games that they lost to teams that maybe they should have beat. 2 losses to Lisbon. They lost to Central City.
Another ground ball to the left side. Kiara Wallace with it again. She'll get the last 2 on back-to-back pitches as McKenna Hofer is retired. And a quick, much-needed 1-2-3 inning for Geisler and the Warhawks. We'll head to the bottom of the 6th. Southeast Warren down by 4, looking for more on offense when we come back on the Girls Union Network, powered by Mid-American Energy Company.
Ready? Let's go.
Mom, over here. Yeah, this kind of thing can happen when you're hiking, but no worries, Mom. I can prescribe something to soothe the itch.
Unity Point Health looks at your family's health from your point of view, offering same-day appointments with expertise focused on what matters most to you. Unity Point Health. Expert care focused on you.
9, 1, and 2 in the Southeast Warren order. Due up here in the top of the 6th. The dangerous spot in the order. You almost feel like if you're Southeast Warren, you want to get your 4 runs right now as they trail Edgewood-Colesburg 8-4.
This first at-bat for Southeast Warren, Harper Wallace, who's out of the 9 spot, maybe one of the most important ABs in this inning coming up. Edgewood-Colesburg would love to find an out early because the next 3 batters are dangerous. And 9 total ABs for those players, the top 3 players in the lineup. They've reached base 7 times, and so it's hard to get those 3 out. So this is an out that you need if you're Edco, and Southeast Warren, this would just be a little bit extra insurance if you can find a way to get Harper Wallace on base.
Yeah, Harper Wallace, no slouch at the plate either. 351 average. Pitch, Wallace.
Correction, Harper Wallace now batting for the Warhawks.
So Wallace lined out to third on what was a nice play by Vasky, and then she struck out swinging in the 4th.
Position of order instead of the number.
The 0-1. That's outside, and it is 1-1. So we've kind of alluded to the story, but Eggleseder, a great athlete, but was dealing with health-related issues throughout this school year, and this one lifted into center. That's going to carry into the gap and one off the fence by Wallace. They get it back in, but not before a double by Harper Wallace in the number 9 hole, and that is her first. She did not have a double. If she didn't hit a double yesterday, that's her first double of the season.
Wow.
For Harper Wallace, and that ball was tattooed. They were playing her in center field. Avery Brown was well in from her normal position, so she had to retreat all the way back to the wall as that one hopped the fence. And as mentioned with the double, extra base hits, as always, brought to you by Channel Seeds.
It does appear Harper Wallace actually did have a double yesterday.
Okay, so her second, but she had no doubles coming into the state tournament.
None the entire season, and then it's 2 in 2 days here at state.
First pitch of ball to the dangerous Lexi Clendenin, who is 2 for 2 with a double, a walk, a run scored in the first, a run scored in the fifth, and now she's got a runner at second as they try to come back, trailing by 4. Time called here by the hitter, Clendenin. Now again, this is a winner's bracket. Neither team would be eliminated with a loss here, but a win would go a long way to helping a team, especially the 5 seed and the 8 seed here, in trying to pull off a state championship. But we've talked about it with Southeast Warren. This offense is just as good as it gets 1 through 9. Eggleseder really going to have to dig deep here. 2-0. This is a line drive, going to be caught by Schmelzers. That hit the very end of the bat. That is a big out to retire Clendenin.
Yeah, that's an important one that they needed to get with somebody who's reached base all 3 times that she's been up to the plate today. Being able to get that first out at least is a little bit of a confidence boost and gives you something as you go into Bella Ewing, who, if you're Eggleseder, she's struck her out once today, but she's reached her other times up to the plate. So you need to find an out any way you can.
Maybe the most complete hitter in this order is up now, and she swings through it, 0-1, Belle Ewing. I mean, not only did she hit .468 during the season coming into the state tournament, but also had 6 home runs, walks 3 times as much as she strikes out in this 2-hole. And she hits it off the end of the bat right at the second baseman, Schmelzer. So back-to-back lineouts to second after the double by Wallace by 2 of your best hitters.
Wow.
And now Madison Olsowski, who is... you talk about Olsowski in this 3 spot. She is a .521 hitter. But now with 2 outs and a runner on, and the 2 table setters were unable to get on base, what a job by Eggleseder here.
You talk about all the tactics and the mental games that you have to play as you're going through this lineup. And for Eggleseder, again, I feel like maybe there's been a little bit of a switch in momentum or just the mindset where you're like, okay, I don't need to get strikeouts, maybe pitch to a little bit of contact.
Well, and here's another pop-up, reaching up off the glove of the shortstop. Dugan couldn't hold it. That will allow the runner to score. And that could have been the 3rd out. Again, that's a tough play ranging back into center by the shortstop. So Olsowski reached. We'll see how that's scored. That's a tough play, but she got the glove on it.
Yeah, it looked like it should have probably been made by the shortstop there.
I think that's the 3rd time we've seen a glove heel kind of cost a player a catch, as Emma Manser will hit with the runner on first. And again, every run matters. So instead of 8-4 going into the 7th, it is 8-5 right now, and still you have to get that 3rd out somewhere.
Looks like they did score a hit, actually. So no error credited against.
And that gives an RBI
shortstop
to Olsowski. As it is now 1-1 here to Manser in the cleanup spot of the order. She is 0 for 3. Did reach on a throwing error on a ground ball to 3rd, which helped score a couple of runs last inning for the Warhawks.
We've talked about defense, how critical that's been to some of the teams and some of the games so far, and that's reared its ugly head here for Edco. They've got 3 errors today, maybe 1 or 2 other plays that could be close to what one might call an error, and that's resulted in a lot of runs coming against them.
Well, they still have an 8-5 lead. Eggleseder just trying to get the last out of this 6th inning so they can go to the 7th and see if they can tack on anything more. 2-2 here to Manser, who popped out in the first, flew out to center in the 3rd, and then reached on that error I mentioned. But, it's fine margins. She did have, Dugan at short, did have a long way to go to try to make that catch, which is why they called it a hit. But what a changeup by Eggleseder to get the strikeout. That's her first strikeout since the fourth inning and her fifth now of this game, but that's a big one to get them out of the frame. But one run does score, and it is still 8-5. Edco with the lead. The 8th seed just 3 defensive outs away, but they will have a shot at the bat to try to improve their lead when we return here on the Girls Union Network, powered by Mid-American Energy Company.
At Mid-American Energy, we're one company serving 1.6 million people who all need energy that's available 24/7. That's why we work 24/7. That's why we make investments in our systems that make us more resilient to extreme weather. That's why we generate power from all available resources to cover the variables in supply and demand. And that's why when the power is knocked out, we work around the clock to restore power to you. Mid-American Energy, obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
One run scores in the bottom of the 6th for Southeast Warren, but they still trail at 8-5. Desperate need of another zero thrown up here, as it will be Kirby, Schmelzer, and Everett, the 3 due-up hitters, 5 through 7 in the order for the Vikings of Edgewood-Colesburg. I would think at this point, Geisler, coming off of the 1-2-3 inning, I mean, just go out there and do everything that she can. Because I was thinking out of that 5th inning, man, she's got a middle of the order coming up here in the 6th, and all she did was sit down 3 really good hitters, 1, 2, 3, on 6 pitches last inning. So I'm sure she just wants to get those hitters back up there for her team and a chance to try to tie this ball game up.
Got to give a lot of credit to Geisler and to their head coach, Cody Reynolds, for just sticking with her in the circle, because it reached a point in that 5th inning where
it was popped up, and it will be the second baseman, Clendenin, underneath it.
Where you thought that maybe they're going to start to sub her out. They've got another capable pitcher in the lineup after they gave up that big 6-run inning. You thought maybe they're going to go another way, but they've stuck with Geisler, and all she's done is retire. Now what, five straight batters? 6 straight batters.
Yeah, because of sacrifice bunt, so 6 in a row. After giving up 7 hits in the previous 8 batters before that. Swing and a miss, looking for the heat. Schmelzer swings through it. I mean, Schmelzer has been the most valuable bat for Edgewood-Colesburg in this tournament so far. A couple of home runs yesterday, a double, a single, 2 RBIs in this one, and a run scored. The 0-1 outside, 1-1. What a story this would be. The 8 seed potentially.
Yeah, I was talking about the previous inning, I think, about just how Edgewood-Colesburg got here and has played so well as the 8 seed. And
1-1.
And there's so often in softball, in any high school sport, honestly, that you just got to find the rhythm at the right time in the year, because they took some losses early in the year to teams that, frankly, they're not state tournament teams. Teams like Sumner Fredericksburg, Waverly Shell Rock, Calamus Wheatland, Northland's a really good team. That's who they ended up beating in the regional final and could be a possible state tournament team, but just lost some games early in the middle part of the year.
Swing and a miss to retire Schmelzer. She's down on strikes. That is the second strikeout of the game for Geisler, and they both have been on Schmelzer.
Wow. And that, but yeah, they just started to find it, because they lost their final 2 games of the regular season, and then going into the regional tournament, beat Midland 8-0, beat Key 9-1, just barely scraped past Northland 3-2, and sometimes it just takes a coach and a group of players who've got some belief. They've got some senior talent on that roster too.
Vasky is going to hit for herself here. She had been the flex player playing third base while Chloe Everett hit for her. Everett batted 3 times, reached on runner interference back in the 2nd, grounded to 2nd in the 4th, and then hit a single and scored a run. Or Vasky scored a run running for her. Actually, I think it was Everett who scored the run. Either way, Vasky is batting here, and it's a 1-1 count after that ball misses. Vasky at the plate this season, 400 average, but that 400 average coming in is 2 for 5.
You
so did not hit a whole lot during the season. The 1-1. Low.
You really would have liked to have seen some more run support here for Edgewood-Colesburg, because has a 3-run lead ever felt less safe against a team that you're playing in the state tournament? Man, Southeast Warren can score in a hurry. Yes, they're going into kind of the bottom half of the lineup.
But they still are averaging 350 plus most spots in the order.
Yeah.
And there's just no off switch. So this one comes in for a strike on the inside corner, 2-2.
It's going to be a critical time to put the ball in the hands of Rachel Eggleseder and just let her take care of business.
If there was a pitcher you'd want to try to keep them to 3 or under 3 runs in an inning to try to win a game, she's the one, but the defense is also going to have to be there behind her. We'll see here, 2-2, Tavaski. She hits this one into center. It's carrying and falling and making a nice catch last minute. Kinley Crow has been busy out there. She's had a couple of diving attempts. That time she does pull it in to retire the side. So 3 up and 3 down. Geisler and the defense do their job. Can the bats do theirs? Middle part of the order still up. 5, 6, and 7 due up when we return. Southeast Warren, 3 outs left to try to score 3. They trail at 8-5 against Edgewood-Colesburg on right here, the Girls Union Network, powered by Mid-American Energy Company.
Something exciting is growing on Iowa farms these days. Innovation. From tractors that seed, weed, and harvest with data-driven precision to drones that scout or plant cover crops to protect soil and water. Even our animals live in smart homes with round-the-clock care. Technology keeps your food safer, water cleaner, and makes us more sustainable. Because what we do here benefits everyone here. Life on the farm makes everyone's life better.
7th inning, bottom of 7, 5-seed Southeast Warren trying to avoid losing a game and having to come back and play in an elimination game against the number 8 seed here. Edgewood-Colesburg is 3 outs away from trying to finish this one off. Lola Shriver, Kinley Crow, Kiera Wallace, the 3 due-up hitters here in this 7th inning to face Rachel Eggleseder, who has battled, given up 5 runs, but of the 5 runs, by my count, just 2 of them have been earned. As the first pitch, Shriver is going to be a little nubber, kind of weird spin on it, but fielded cleanly by Schmelzer. 1 pitch, 1 out. How big is that to start the inning?
Yeah, that's the out that you needed, and good way to handle the pressure there for Edco. There's been a few fielding errors this game. You wonder, is the pressure going to get to him a little bit? But just a clean operation over there at second base by Addie Schmelzer, the one who's been swinging a hot bat and wielding a hot glove.
Had a little weird side spin on it off the bat, so she did a good job staying down on that as Kinley Crow steps in, and she swings at the first pitch, lifting it into center, backing up, and making the 2-hand catch is Avery Brown. 2 pitches, 2 outs, and Rachel Eggleseder and Edgewood-Colesburg 1 out away from being 2-0 in this bracket in Class 1A.
Wow, 2 pitches into the inning, swung at the first pitch each time, and now we're just 1 out away from another upset by the 8 seed here at State.
Just last month, Rachel Eggleseder was told she was cancer-free after battling stage 2 Hodgkin lymphoma. Now she's 1 out away from having her team 2-0 in this 1A bracket as Kiera Wallace takes strike 1.
Let's try to set the table for what we might see next. If this result holds, Edgewood-Colesburg, if they win, they will play again tomorrow at 12:45.
This one just inside ball 1.
And they would play in that game either Southeast Warren or the loser of the last game that we saw, which was
the winner, Exira Elkhorn, Kimbleton,
Exira Elkhorn, Kimbleton, Audubon.
Popped up on the infield. Who's it going to be? They're looking at each other. Eggleseder can't pull it in. She's looking at the shortstop, Dugan. That's the second time Dugan has had a hard time getting a read on a pop-up. I'm also not sure that wasn't Schmelzer's ball, the way that one was kind of on the second base side. Eggleseder was kind of left to fend for herself there in the center, and the game continues. I'm going to put that down as a single because I'm not sure you can charge an error to anyone there.
Yeah, that's tough.
Eggleseder was trying to make a Willie Mays catch because her infielders weren't helping her out. But still 2 outs, and now Glorious Fridley will have a shot here to keep the game alive. Ground ball up the middle. Second baseman, they flip it, and they boot the ball in the middle infield. So the middle infielders don't connect on the pop-up, and then they have a mistake up the middle. Second baseman Schmelzer late to cover second as Dugan wanted to go there for the force out. So now all of a sudden the tying run is at the plate, and it's Harper Wallace who doubled to the wall her last time up.
Well, things can change quickly. Two pitches had, a couple of outs, and now just a couple pitches later we've got 2 runners on base.
First pitch outside. You have to wonder if Eggleseder in the circle's just got to try to dial it in. You don't want her to feel like she has to do it herself, but again, the defense is letting her down here in this 7th inning.
I thought the Taylor Huber head coach might call a timeout, just try to settle things in.
The 1-0. This is a grounder. How about the third baseman, Vasky? Her throw to first in time, and they're finally out of it. The defense does finish it off, and Edco gets another win as the 8th seed here in the 1A bracket, 8-5 over a very game Southeast Warren team. Southeast Warren does have to come back and play against IGHSAU, which is going to be, I think, an excellent game.
Excellent game.
I'm really excited for that one as we line that one up. But how about Edco?
Yeah. Edco, can you believe an 8 seed came here to the state tournament after losing their last 2 games of the regular season, has done nothing but win since then. Came up with the clutch hits when they needed them the most, had that big 6-run 5th inning, which turned the tide in this game, able to hold off the hot bats of Southeast Warren. Lowest run total that Southeast Warren has had in a single game since June 25th, a game that they won 1-0, one of their lowest scoring games of the entire season. And I guess that's what we expected out of Rachel Eggleseder, one of the best pitchers in the state. Allowed 5 runs still, but did the job that she needed to at the time when they needed most. And now IGHSAU, EHK, Audubon, and Southeast Warren, they're going to be back on the field later tonight, 7:30. They're going to play with one of the teams going home.
An elimination game on tap later on for Southeast Warren, and what will be a fantastic